Greetings and welcome to another episode of 1320 Time Stream. This is Alea Eternal. Well, what do we have here? We have our 9th day of the dog wavespell. We start getting into the corridor of the formalization of action. Beginning with the white solar mirror, tone 9 solar and seal 18 mirror. Well, let's have a little look at it here. Let's get into our breath here. This is gonna be in our on the left foot next to your baby toe. Next to left baby toe. Next to left baby toe. And your left elbow. Left elbow next to left baby toe. Breathe out when you're ready. Okay, a little mini breath there for us. Well, let's get into it. Solar tone, the tone of intention, also the formalization of action. And the mirror. Wow, where to go with this? This is interesting. Mainly because I'm already feeling those energies kind of crop up, just today's energies. After a while, I've explained everything. I've given, descriptions for the solar tone. I've given descriptions for the mirror. And to me, it starts becoming really redundant. And to be honest, I lose inspiration to continue explaining those single tones and signs over and over. And so I begin to really feel into this space of just what comes up for me in these areas, because eventually you just get it. The participators and those who tune in, and so it begins to take on kind of a life of its own kind of energy. And so just kind of all together, the intentional reflection, or realizing what your reflections are. Reflections in this respect can be considered those things that don't pass through you. That which gets reflected or bounced off of you. See, when we talk about the movement of energy, naturally, in the way that our body and nature works, it's very much like if anyone here has ever participated in some Vipassana. Vipassana is a meditation. In fact, that is not unlike the meditations that we share here, where we breathe through points in our body and just be aware of the different sensations and things that arise for us and draw guidance from this. Vipassana shows us, as we continue to meet ourselves in this way, continue to show up in this way, which is the breathing, feeling the sensations, witnessing the mind, repeat. This kind of just very simple rhetoric. Breathing, feeling the sensations within the body, witnessing the mind, and continuing. some things really start to show up. And I've expressed a little bit of this at other times as different qualities of the mirror. And I'm going to get into all of them. The first thing here is just what we're talking about. And in Vipassana, we begin to really see that everything is meant to pass through us. And the density of the body and the memory and identity is all related to the different subtle and major sensations which show up. As these sensations show up, as these feelings, whether they're emotional, whether it's like a physical sensation like hot or cold, whether it's a pain in the body, it doesn't matter what it is. We feel such a range of things, and it's only really us who has described, oh, this is physical, this is mental, this is emotional. Ultimately, they're all within a singular field of vibration and actually have no difference whatsoever. They are vibration. There is absolutely no separation, and there really is no need to impart a separation. Now, this is the aspect of allowing it to pass through you, because naturally, because we are a transparent frequency, we are a transparent energy in motion, very much like that energy flow of the river, that water flow of the river, as it just flows and continues in that say direction, just that direction of flowing. The mirror kind of represents, in some aspect, those parts that bounce off, that it's triggered like a fear response or a contraction or something like that. And that contraction, that fear response, that rejection actually traps a portion of the vibration, a sequence of that vibration, an imprint of it in your resonant body, your physical body, your emotional body, your whatever, your body. Because your body is vast. We can talk about the mental body. We can talk about the causal body. We can talk about a million definitions of the different energy sheaths that are your body, but they are simply all your body. There is no separation from them. So there's different parts that are getting kind of stuck, and then those create identity. Those create what you could call a blockage or a thick bit, or very much like in kind of a massage concept, it's like a muscle knot, a knot in your muscle. And so again, it just keeps returning me. I find it just really simply, just with the solar tone, it's about realizing, just allowing today to be about that realization, and how that shows up in our reflections, realizing that we have certain reflections, that we reject certain things. Why is that? Right? We naturally have this ability to let everything just pass through us. Now again, this brings up the mirror's kind of other phase, other framework, other form, which is of transparency, very much like that whole window mirror kind of connection, where a window is a mirror depending on the angle. And one angle you can see through, and the other angle you just see your own reflection. And in the same way, all of these energies, depending on how you look at them, depending on how you approach them, depending on how you embody them, will have a different level of like contractive, non-contractive. Are you gonna open up to it and allow it to move freely, or are you going to contract and kind of grab onto certain aspects of it, or hyper define yourself from certain aspects of what is occurring, thus having some of it get stuck in you? So I feel that's an okay definition here. Really just looking at that mirror as the aspect of realizing in us what we are reflecting. Just having a nice kind of calm, very simple, not overly defined aspect of energy today. let's realize what we're reflecting as we formalize our action, right? How is the dog formalizing its action? Well, out of all the natural energies that are flowing, what are we reflecting, right? What are we going, boom, that light energy, that energy will just pass right through you, boom, we ping it off us. Very much like we block it, we put up a wall. And that's what this is. And, sometimes it's difficult for us to see. Like when we have a contraction, we just usually have this kind of like, contractions in some way naturally happen. But as well, contractions are actually programmed. And I feel like with the grace energy of the 22nd city that's been being talked about, really what it talks about is that there are all these different energies that move. And for me, what I picked up from it is there is potentially traumatic structures, energies that you want to go, no, thank you, right? And it is appropriate to do so. It's appropriate to know your boundaries. It's appropriate to know where your no is. In that respect, it's also highly valuable to simply allow, with grace, all that arises to pass through you and to allow and participate in the active ascension of reflection. And so again, this brings more definition to solar mirror. It is the mirror of intention. So we're going to look at our reflections now with intention and intentionally weave a more transparent allowing of whatever vibrations that show up for us to simply pass through us. Well, I feel that is going to sum up the wave spell portion of today's 1320 time stream transmission. Stay tuned.